utopia, take away the economy from those who rigged it. As I see it, class warfare, the only resort to right-wing doom. It's worth it. How to talk to your right-wing relatives, friends, and neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willis. Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willis, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to the entire United States of America. Good morning to the entire world receiving our signals via the magic of El Internet, formerly known as the ARPANET, and created by whom? Created by we, the people, created by you. Folks, we are going to have a great show for you today. As usual, I promise you quite a few topics. But beforehand, let's go to the geniuses in the studio with El Senor Howard Reynolds, Jack Van Beber, and pitching with us today is going to be the wonderful, the voice, Elise Bench. Good morning, folks. How you guys doing?
We are very excited to have Elise this morning. As always, because she does such a wonderful job of things. Let's see her tin cans of string are holding up here. Elise, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Oh, yeah, we can hear you too.
Don't you love it when it works out that way, Howard?
It so rarely does. Tin cans and string, people. Yes, we are in Pledge Drive. So Elise is going to tell us why we should support KPFT. And during Egberto's show, I'm just sitting here pushing the buttons. And Jack, what you got, man?
Well, I've got Egberto's headlines. Welcome to today's show, where Egberto brings on Houston Democracy Project founder Neil Aquino to unpack the unfolding turmoil in American politics. Together, they examine the swelling protest movement both locally and nationally, the growing fear among Americans over future health care costs, the betrayal of the working class interests by corporate-funded Democrats that paved the way for Donald Trump's resurgence, and the coordinated media onslaught against working class champions like Graham Platner. This is a discussion about power, money, democracy, and who really serves the people. Right on.
Well, yes, indeed. You know, Egberto, I am sitting here watching on Facebook all these people. Well, we don't have a king. Why are you all protesting? They're missing the point. I'm seeing the politicians, well, the right-wing politicians, try to spin this thing. Oh, these are people who hate America. They're Hamas supporters. They miss the point too. Yeah, it's disgusting.
They miss the points.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? It's interesting, Howard. We got an infiltrator inside of our, inside of the No Kings March, and there is this guy tried to. First of all, they brought him to me, right? The captains. They saw this guy. This guy wanted to talk, and they know that I want to talk to everybody, so they brought him to me. So we had a little discourse taped. He taped it. I taped it. He goes on to one of the websites, and all he said is like, I was the only one there. He's talking about himself, and he kind of made it look silly. But it turns out once I posted the interview, right? The interview pulled in like 200 and something thousand views. That one little interview. And suddenly all his stuff online disappeared.
Oops.
Oops, because what somebody did is they went ahead and posted the video on his line. Oops, it disappeared rather quickly. But anyway, anything else you want to add, Senor Howard, before I move on?
No, just we went to the protest at 1960 and 290, and there was a Trump guy out there with his flag and his hat and his wife's hat and such, and they were pretty much left alone. I mean, nobody heckled them, nobody bothered them. Right. That's basically what the whole thing was about. You can protest, or you can support Trump at those things if you want to, and nobody's going to hurt you. I mean, I can't imagine why they would do that, but it's in the 22 arrests that they made were actually MAGAs.
Right. You know what is interesting, Howard? And I think a lot of people should kind of realize this. if these people were really for Trump and against the sentiment of what the people are doing, there's nobody that would have. I've been on in these protests for decades, and when the Tea Party was in vogue, they would not have left No Kings go untouched. In other words, they would be out there with a strong counter protest. The fact that the first No Kings that we had a few white supremacists that came out. This time around, there was no organization. People are in pain. And the reason we didn't get a lot of backstop that normally occurs, I think people have had it. And nobody, I've been waiting for somebody in the mainstream media to come out and say, how comes there wasn't more pushback? None of that happened. No, we were ready for pushback. We had a lot of cop cars there ready for something because we knew we were going to be big. Even downtown where Jack and Neil were, you had the presence of the cop, but no counter protest like one would have expected. But anyhow, let me get busy here because today is Neil Aquino Day. It's Thursday. This is where we get a whole lot of additional stuff covered both locally and nationally. Neil, how are you doing this morning, my brother?
I'm doing all right. Excuse me. I'm doing all right. It's another great day. Hello to the local, regional, statewide, national, global politics done right audience. And it's good to be here. And the pledge drive, we have a pledge drive. But we're going to, just like last week, it was supporting independent media is so central to what's going on. It really kind of weaves in to the narrative. So we've got a great show ahead, and we appreciate everyone tuning in.
Thank you very much for that. Let me just say this, folks. Let's uh, let's get started early if we can, and don't have that big apple in my throat whether I'm going to meet my $500 quota or not. So I want to ask all of you to call as soon as possible as we're preambling the show right now. I guarantee we have a lot to talk about. Please call 713-526-5738, 713-526-5738. If you've never given before, if you're please call that number and do whatever you can. We'd love $5 or $10 contributions, uh, 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 monthly contributions, but we also want whatever it is you can give. We'll talk a little bit more about that going a little bit later. But right now, I know you want to hear a voice that is much sweeter and nicer than mine. So let's go to Elise Bench.
Good morning. Thanks, Egberto. I appreciate you having me on. Just a quick update of where we are. We started Pledge Drive a week ago today, so we dropped right into your lives on the air 1 week ago, starting at the not at the goose egg level. We did have a little bit of padding to start with because we had some rollover sustainers come our way. But just a quick update as to where we stand now. We are at $86,346, and that means that, and I'm looking at the number, we're at 499 unique individual donors for this pledge drive. That means the next donor we get, you're number 500, and we are just about halfway to our overall goal of $175,000. We can do this together. This show in particular has a $500 goal. We need to be able to make this for Egberto this morning. We've been accused of a lot of things at this radio station since 1970. There's no way we can even keep track of the number of things that KPFT has been accused of, but we've never, ever been accused of being mainstream. And when Egberto is talking to you about mainstream media and he's talking to you about the things that you hear other places but you don't get anywhere else, it's not hyperbole. It truly is something that you will not find anywhere else. And as we see things falling by the wayside, left and right, I mean, from rainbow colored crosswalks to democracy in general, it's a time now to take a stand and stand up for the things that matter in your life. And this radio station is vital to have a voice for the community and a voice for the voiceless. If Egberto's voice is important in your life, whether you agree with what he says or not, if you agree with free speech radio, We have a $500 goal that you can contribute to right now when you call 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. We want to fund this show, fund this radio station, and continue on with our mission of supporting community radio in Houston. Keep us strong now by calling 713-526-5738. Your pledge of support at a $5 a month level will help us take us to our goal this morning. kpft.org. Back to you, Egberto.
Thank you so kindly, Elise. Thank you so kindly. Anyway, folks, let's go ahead and get started with Senor Aquino. What's on the agenda for today, brother?
Well, we had the very successful No Kings. I know you've been talking about it, and estimates of 7 to 8 million people participating. The local attendance was great. The estimates downtown are 15 to 20,000. There were protests in, let me just list the cities locally: LaPorte, Navasota, Katy, Richmond, Clear Lake, Conroe, Cypress, Pasadena, Pearland, Galveston, the Woodlands, Cold Spring, and Bryan College Station. I know in Katy, they went from an estimated 1,700 to just under 3,000. LaPorte had about
Wow.
300. They had not had a protest in the June No Kings. There were great crowds everywhere. And in my view, we are organizing ourselves. There is some resources that come in for indivisible chapters, but there really is not a lot of, there's not much money coming in. This is us. This is all us organizing ourselves. And I think hopefully it's a rapid response network if habeas corpus is suspended. And I think one of the most important things is in the suburbs, rural areas, and small cities, people are realizing there are others like themselves who share these democracy concerns. So I think it was a big win, and the goal in many respects is simply to continue to organize ourselves and continue to meet ourselves, and that's going to have benefits going forward.
I think it's Professor Shenowitz, I believe is her name, speak about when 3.5% of the population is engaged. At that point in time, the political climate changes, and even the fascists have to give in. So, I mean, we are very, very close to that number. We actually surpassed that number if you just count voting population. But I think her 3.5% is about the entire population of the country. So we are almost there as far as having the mass movement that's needed, which is a great thing. 7 million people still. That is the largest national gathering that this country has ever had.
Right, in places all over, and I just want to emphasize again the absence of money. Most of these folks organized themselves. The Houston of the main I don't want to say main, the largest one downtown. This it's volunteers, and so a concern about that is people burn out. You always need new people, but this was all, and I wrote yesterday in the Houston Democracy Project blog, tired of being policed by a small army. So downtown, I counted 83 cars and SUVs, 16 horse units, 8 ATV dune buggy looking things, a golf cart, a giant camouflage high water rescue vehicle, a helicopter, and the officers, whatever their purpose was, on the top of City Hall. And that doesn't count all the surveillance equipment was there. And that other cars and SUVs were staged a few blocks away or ready. And yet, if you wanted to assemble a group of law-abiding people who use turn signals vote in every election, and return their library books on time, you'd stage a political protest. If you wanted a collection of law-abiding people, we were there to oppose law breaking. And I am tired of the huge police resources that go into this as if we're criminals. The criminals are running the country, and the money, the money that this takes, and I would like to see some hard evidence or intelligence from HPD that there's a meaningful prospect of trouble or conflict. A lot of their reason that they're there is to de-escalate, they say, the police. But for all the protests I've been to, I've never seen that need arise. Maybe ICE hired all the goons, and they were away somewhere. But I am tired of in my own city being policed like it's an armed camp.
It's interesting because here in Kingwood, we actually requested the police because of where we are
Right,
for the
right,
fear of infiltrators, right? And the
right.
funny thing, like I said before, is they were, for all practical purposes, non-existent except for that stray that came in. And that tells me more about even those people that would infiltrate are probably feeling the pain of what this administration is doing to them. I find it ironic. I mean, first of all, bringing 1,000 people here in Kingwood,
Right.
can't. It's not. Was definitely not all Democrats or all independents. And the Republicans that I spoke to in the group, they didn't want their faces on camera. But they felt that they needed to be there to make sure the numbers showed the discontent. And I think that is where we're at right now. Welcome aboard, Jennifer Hunter. Lynette says good morning. FIFO March KJ, welcome aboard. Richard Hogan, MD, PhD, welcome aboard. We also have in the house Stephen Rosenweig, MXXS. And on the other chat, welcome aboard Lisa Blair from Atlanta, Georgia. Joanne from Los Angeles, California. Welcome aboard. I think we have Tag from Michigan on the line. Tag, come on in.
Morning, everybody. Just wanted to say a quick word about George Orwell, 1984. We're all familiar with that.
Go ahead, my brother.
He talked a lot about doublespeak, and I think that's what we're running into here. Neil talked about the money being spent over the weekend. My issue is we were told by the Trump administration how they were going to cut the budget. And now we have a Trump administration who is spending money like a drunken sailor. So my question is, and this pertains to the doublespeak issue, how can you sell people on cutting a budget when you're actually spending more money? So that just blows me away, and then people fall for it.
Let me just say this.
Comment for the morning.
Thank you for that, Tag. The Republican Party is good at something and that is they understand that they just have to say things that people want to hear. They don't have to implement it. They just have to say things. And, people go ahead and take it at face value. They say they're the party of life, yet they've extinguished more lives than anybody else. They say they're a party of human values, yet they don't support the policies that actually foment human values. I mean, we can go on and on. They do whenever Trump talks about liberals or progressives or the left doing something, just wait a day, because what he did is preempted what he intended to do. So when you talk about him talking about cutting spending and spending more than anybody else, that's what he does. When he campaigned and said he was tired of wars, but at the same time allow the funding of the bombing of Gaza, allow the funding of bombing boats out of the water, and and continues to do these things, it's exactly the opposite of what he said he was going to do. So that is standard modus operandi, and we just have to keep, just like they understand that repetition works. In other words, if you keep repeating the same thing over and over again, lies tend to become truths for them. And that is what the left have to remember. Keep speaking, keep telling the truth, because the truth eventually will become the truth and be cauterized in people's minds as the truth. Thank you so kindly for calling in, Tag.
Thanks, Alberto. Have a good day.
You too, my friend. Jacqueline Campisi, our professora from Katy, Texas, says they keep saying we want to fund immigrants. Republicans believe this lie. Yeah, and that is exactly what it is, a lie. But again, let me tell you something, Jacqueline. I'm coming back to you in a minute, Neil. When this is very well orchestrated, under the tenets of the Powell memo, we had to get you to have a boogie person, a boogie thing, right? So the boogie thing that the Powell memo made you believe was that government is bad. Of course, people never went to the next level of indirection. If government is bad and it's we the people, that is inferring that you are bad. So no, I never accept the tenet that government is bad. Government is what we make government to be. Then the other thing they have is they need to be able to say something is causing the ills on you, not caused by them. So they use the immigrants as a scapegoat. When the immigrants are not there to step on them, they use the people of color as scapegoats, and they do all these things because if they can foment hate in you for something else, then you won't start looking at them as the ones to blame. And that is the thing that we have to grow up. That's why I work hard on getting rid of the hate, because the hate allows one to do a whole lot of things that they wouldn't otherwise do. Neil, come on in.
Right. I want to I just want to mention that there are local elections going on before the hour's
Yes.
out. There is early voting going on through Halloween through the 31st. Election day is the 4th. There are 17 constitutional amendments. If you Google around, look around, you'll find labor or politicians that maybe have some regard for have views on the 17 amendments. There's a city council race in Houston. Two names that are mentioned sometimes are Alejandro Salinas, Jordan Thomas. There's the former council member Dwight Boykins, who has close relationships with the fire and police unions, if that's your thing. And there are important school board races in Cypress Fairbanks. There are other, Baytown has important elections. So I urge you, turnout, as you can imagine, is awful. And early voting runs through the 31st. Election day is the 4th. And then there's also the Congressional District 18 race, which has been not had an incumbent since Mayor Turner died. And that will move to a runoff, most likely. And so will the city council race in Houston likely move to a runoff. So please look it up. And early voting is ongoing through the 31st, and election day is the 4th. And the Cy-Fair election, Governor Abbott was in town pushing. He said that he's going to make Harris County deeply red, and he's got $90 million. Going to spend most of it here. He said this was in Cypress. And the Cypress Fairbanks Independent School District is like the 50th largest in the United States. It's a big deal. The board is swung hard right, and here's your chance. And if you know someone in Cypress Fairbanks ISD, call them, look it up, figure it out, and go vote.
Understand when he says that he's going to turn Harris County red, a county that is very, very blue, that tells you the disrespect that he has for all of you here in Harris County listening. I hope you heard that. Welcome aboard, Danielle 831, Gayla Kunis, Marge KJ, and LBW is in the house. Another professora. She says, don't forget TX18. Cheryl Elkins, thank you guys so kindly for being here. I want to give a big, big, big thank you to Willard. Willard is from Houston, Texas. Willard, thank you so kindly for being a contributor to KPFT via Politics Done Right. We definitely cannot do this without you. And I'm going to be going to Elise in a minute. But before I go, I want to say, folks, please remember, give us a call at 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to donate whatever you can. We are looking as well for $5 or $10 a month contributions, what they call sustainers, which allows us for better budgeting for all the equipment and all the expenses, etc. Remember, we still have breakfast with Egberto, or it's coffee with Egberto. That is a $250 contribution, and we also have the Politics Done Right T-shirts, which is a $100 contribution. Again, these are all sort of gimmicks to get you to support, of course. None of this money comes to me at all, zero. I'm here 100% on a volunteer basis to try to make sure we can keep this public station alive. Elise?
Yes, good morning. You're listening to Politics Done Right with Egberto Willies, airing each and every weekday from 6 to 7 a.m. here on KPFT. We've been talking a little bit this morning about the recent protests that took place across the country. We also have been talking a little bit about early voting happening here. Also, yes, Greg Abbott's threat to turn Harris County deep red. Democracy is under attack. I say those words, and it seems pretty obvious when you are looking around and seeing what's happening right in front of your eyes. And authoritarianism is real, and I think we're feeling the effects of it right now. And it can feel pretty helpless sometimes. And you listen to this show and you think, but what can I really do? I mean, I'm listening to this. It's so frustrating to see what's happening around us each and every day. And almost every morning we wake up and it's something else. Well, thankfully, we can wake up weekdays and listen to this show. And Egberto is like a big, bright, shining light. And he just has a way in the darkness of the times that we're in today. He cuts through it and he breaks it down in a way that is uplifting and empowering. 713-526-5738, option 1, kpft.org. Let us add your name to the list of, I think I'm considering everyone that donates this morning to be a protester, okay? Because you are protesting, you're standing up for something that you believe in. You're saying, no, I don't want this radio station to go away. Yes, I do want this station to be here, to be a voice, not only for me, but for everyone who needs it, who needs to be able to hear these words, who needs to be able to open up their minds and maybe have a conversation with their neighbor about something that could be life-changing. The information you get here on this show every morning is empowering, it's uplifting, and it's brought to you by volunteers. If that's something you can get behind and be a part of, please help us at 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. Back to you, Egberto.
Thank you so kindly for that, Elise. Thank you so kindly for that. Neil, let's go into your blogs. I know you have some blogs with regards to the mayor and what he said in an interview, if I recalled.
Right. So let me tell you the city structure of Houston, city governance, like if we were in a classroom. So Mayor Whitmire did an interview with the New York Times. The Houston Chronicle is consistently reporting that he or his office have not returned a request since
For an interview.
August 17th for comments, anything. But of course, he did an interview with the New York Times. So Mayor Whitmire wants to be big in New York City. And he said most major cities are in turmoil. He said this before. He has said this at council. Most major cities are in turmoil. We're not. The best way, Mayor, this is the Times. Mayor Whitmire is betting the best way to govern a large city right now is to keep your head down. Let me tell you, no major city is in turmoil. To the extent that anyone is in turmoil, it's because ICE is terrorizing people, and low-flying helicopters are raiding apartment buildings, and unneeded National Guard are coming. So Whitmire, no matter what, is making clear that no matter what the federal government does, or the state government, we're going to accept it. Now he says he does that because of funding, and that's worth hearing. A lot of funding, for example, the city health department is 90% external funding. It is important, but the structure of city government seems to be Governor Abbott and President Trump kick sand in Mayor Whitmire's face. Mayor Whitmire then intimidates council into silence, and then if you oppose it, you're over policed. And then also, there were 4 people arrested at the crosswalk, at the Pride crosswalk, this past. So they got rid of that early Monday morning, around 2 a.m. 4 people were arrested. You know, it's just something. The president has 34 felonies, but there was the need to arrest 4 people at the crosswalk, and the structure of city government basically is we don't talk about what's going on, and Trump and Abbott run the city. I don't know why we bother to have a mayor. And you know, there's another crosswalk. There's a excuse me. There's a Black Lives Matters crosswalk. I think in front of Jack Yates High School. There's at least one other, and this is sorry, I just tripped over my words. This isn't something. This is just something. The city government extends all the way to Austin and Washington. Mayor Whitmire does whatever he's told, and then he bullies everyone below. I mean, what a system.
That's
What
you
a
know
system.
that's how dictatorships work. In fact, America for the longest time loved working with dictators because that is exactly how it works. The dictators are puppets to the president, and then he goes ahead and rule with an iron fist over. We had Ferdinand Marcos, we had Baby Doc, we had Somoza, we had all these people that we enjoyed that kind of behavior. Let me tell you what I find so worse in what Whitmire is doing. The fact that even if he thinks he has to keep his head down and not say much, the fact that he said other cities are in turmoil and not Houston
You're right.
means that he bought the line from the lies, and it's not like he doesn't know the truth. It's not like he doesn't know that Baltimore's not burning. By the way, I was just in Baltimore. He can't say Chicago is burning. Last year I was in Chicago with Netroots. He can't say New Orleans is burning. I was in New Orleans for Netroots this year. Let me say this, because the thing about it is this: they love to talk about the crime, and the city's burning. Interestingly, the areas where you find these high crimes, the majority of crimes, are in neighborhoods that are pretty much in need. We've always known that crime, the majority of crime, is a socioeconomic event. If you really want to solve the crime problem, don't go into these neighborhoods with police. Go into these neighborhoods with jobs. Go into these neighborhoods and offer the ability for people to move up. And that is the difference between what progressives believe and hard-handed type of politics. The hard-handed type of politics is solely there to generate money for the prison industrial complex. They
And they're not
need
even
cogs. Go ahead, brother.
they're not even I agree with that. But then also when they are sending troops into cities, they're not sending them to high crime areas. That's the thing.
Right.
They're not. It's not about that. It's about so San Francisco apparently is next,
Yes.
and it is about laying the groundwork for martial law to normalize troops in cities. And what is going on is an ethnic cleansing. I just want to keep said that here before. You see now our new refugee policy, where the only refugees we're taking in the whole earth, from the
White
whole
South
earth,
Africans.
are Afrikaners from South Africa, who don't like black rule. Just think about that. And I they want this to be a white nation. They're destroying the lives of black people, mentally, economically, politically, and they are rounding up. They are assaulting the Latino working class. And one thing we'll be talking about here on the show in the months to come is the Supreme Court decision on the Voting Rights Act,
Yeah.
because there is a whole new world ahead, unfortunately. And after they got all of the Black and Latino political representation, when Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act gets turned over, it was debated in the Supreme Court on October 15th. They're going to redistrict Congress, and then they're going to redistrict. This is an additional redistricting to the one that was just done here in Texas. And then they're going to redistrict the state legislative seats. And the things that we all have become used to here in Texas with a number, and here in Harris County with a number of Black and Latino seats. Some of them will remain, but a lot of them are going to go. And I don't take any pleasure in that, but we have to adapt to that environment. And the Democratic, if we cannot rely on identity-centered districts, which frequently have had lower turnout, then they're going to have to find different ways and different coalitions. And anyone who thinks that they cannot show up and be safe is whistling past the graveyard. There's a whole different world on the way.
Well, let me add to that. I need to add to that because I think that this redistricting, progressives could actually come out ahead.
Yeah.
And here's the reason why. And I want everybody to listen in detail. The way they redistrict is based on voter turnout. They know who the people are that's voting. The one thing that we also know is that there are a ton of people, a ton of Latinos that don't vote, a ton of Black folks that don't vote in these particular districts that were kind of drawn out for them. But here is the kicker. When you're drawing your maps and you use the computer system to start put in votes and cut in lines based on who you think is going to vote, what happens is if you get the people that need to vote, those boundaries suddenly make no sense. And we actually have evidence to that. John, our friend that's in the House of in the Texas
Rosenthal.
legislature, John Rosenthal, won a when they redistricted. He won a +10 Republican district, which means that district was a very safe Republican district the first time, not after they redistrict yet again.
Right.
That district was a +10 district. He won the district by 2 points. And the reason why is in order to get these other districts that Republicans think they can get, they have to dilute their sureness of Republicans in another district. What that means is that if Democrats perform better than they did in those districts, there is a good chance that they actually win it, especially in times when you have what's occurring with healthcare that is actually going to affect more people in red districts than in blue districts. So when everybody is cowering and everybody feels, oh, they're so scared, as long as we count the votes and as long as the people who are listening to our voices go out there and vote irrespective, you have a better chance of winning. Actually, by diluting the Republican districts is what I'm saying, which is the only way they can pull out more districts. They have to dilute the very strong Republican districts. By diluting those districts, they give the opportunity of many of these districts to come into play. John Rosenthal here in Texas recently is a perfect example of that happening. So, folks, we don't need to be despaired. We don't need despair. We can actually make this happen. I'm coming to Bruce and Betty in a minute, but I want to say that I only have one contribution. Thank you, Willard. We need a lot more, and we are at 6:39. We only have about 20, a few minutes to go. I want to ask you so kindly to please call 713-526-5738, extension number 1. Donate whatever you can. Remember, the only way we can stay on air, the only way this program can stay on air is that it has to carry its own weight. And its own weight means that you support this program. And we can only do that with your support. Give whatever you can. $5 a month, $10 a month, a one-time contribution, whatever you can. My goal is $500. Do we have an angel out there that wants to do it in one full swoop? You can do that as well. There are a lot of people that are listening to us right now with a lot of means and can just say, you know what? I am going to do that today. I am going to give whatever I can. But we are out here doing the work. Brother Neil Aquino is out there everywhere, all over the county and all over the news, doing the work to make sure that we can bring it to a people that we know are, stressed out, tired. And we don't want to give hope. We want to let folks know that you are already empowered to do what you need to do. So please call 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to donate. Please remember to say it's for Politics Done Right, or go to kpft.org, hit that donate button, select what you want, select Politics Done Right as a program you're supporting. Let's please get this done so that we know we are in steady and ready to go. So we're going to go to a better voice, Elise Bench. Come on in. Elise, thank you so kindly for being here with us this morning.
Not a better voice, just a different voice. And that's okay too, because many voices, we need to hear from other people. We need to hear from other voices. We need to be able to have conversations with each other and understand each other and listen to each other. And Egberto, you are so good at that. You listen to what people have to say and you have these meaningful conversations and you give us information every morning and nuanced insight that you won't find anywhere else. We've been talking a lot this morning about the things that we're seeing happen each and every day around us. And it's something that, we're losing control of. When you control the message and the messaging, you control the masses. And we're seeing this happen, and it's frightening in a lot of ways. We will lose so much truth and democracy if we lose this show and if we lose this radio station. We literally cannot afford to lose what this station represents and what it always had stood for. Since 1970, KPFT has been broadcasting commercial free, and that's something worth highlighting because that just means that there are no other entities or corporations that we have to answer to. There's no one looking over our shoulder saying, no, say it this way. No, you're not going to be able to say that. Well, maybe the FCC. There's one entity that does control us a little bit. Otherwise, we're able to highlight and point out the things that no one else does. And Egberto does it so well each and every morning on this show, Politics Done Right. Please let us thank you next. Thank you so much to Dulce and Rose Sharon stepping up and doing their part to help this show. 713-526-5738, option 1. Thank you so much. I'm losing my voice this morning.
Thank you so kindly. Thank you so kindly, Elise. And yes, Dulce got a sustainer. Thank you so kindly for the sustainer, Dulce. Love you for that. And of course, we started out with a sustainer from Willard today. Thank you so kindly. We have. Go ahead, Neil.
And before we take a call, let me just. I'll be brief. Like I say, every time I'm here for a pledge drive, and now I've done a number of them. The face that Egberto presents to you on the air is the same representation you get off the air. Inclusive, working hard. Egberto is relentless in working to prepare for this program, his newsletters. It is genuine, independent media. It is genuine, independent media. This pledge drive really is consistent with what we've been talking about. People doing the No Kings on their own, without many external resources. This really is. I know people get tired of pledge drives, but this is, excuse me, this is consistent with the theme of the program. This show has to continue. I'm a donor. I'm a contributor, as is Egberto. That's in addition to the volunteer time that we both put in to here. Egberto substantially more than mine, but please do contribute. It's essential, and you're helping independent media. And we continue to stand up for everyone when you see so much media pull back.
Thank you for that, Neil. I have a thing I want to say about the Senate race in Maine that I think is germane, but I'll leave that for near the end. Let's go ahead and get Betty involved. Betty, come on in, line number 2. Betty will be on with us shortly, and then we'll come on. But as Betty, you're on.
Okay. Thank you. It's Kevinson time for Medicare Advantage. Get your free Bluetooth speaker and $2,220 back in 2026 Social Security. Deadline December the 7th deadline. We'll be bombarded by then. But give to 90.1 Alberto. Don't look behind you and don't look in front of you. It's what's inside you. Love y'all.
Love you too, Betty. I love me some Betty. Always short and concise. Thank you so kindly, Amber. Thank you so kindly,
Right.
Amber from Huntsville, Texas. So our surrounding areas are well represented. We have
Yeah.
Huntsville, Texas, Sharon, Texas, and Houston, Texas. Can we get some more folks? We are so behind at this point in time. We could use quite a few more calls, quite a few more people going to kpft.org. Anybody want to have coffee? There's a 250 contribution, and we'll go out. I'll drive to any part of Harris County or the surrounding counties that are not too far out and meet with you for some coffee. It's a $250 contribution. I think we have about 3 or 4 of those that we've gotten thus far since the beginning of I think it was about 2 actually, for the beginning of the pledge drive. Let's go to Bruce in line 1. Come on in, Bruce.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Good
Bruce.
morning. Yeah, I'm on a tight retirees budget, and I gave. So, fellow retirees, you can afford it. Step up. Trump reminds me of the old story of the camel in the tent. The camel sticks his nose in and says, "Just my nose, it's cold outside." And then his neck is in. The next thing you know, the whole camel's in the tent. Trump does something nefarious, gets away with it. So he does it 10 times more, gets away with it, and keeps on going. The thing they're doing with the White House is a psychological thing. Has nothing to do with it needing a new ballroom. He's acting like a tiger or a dog peeing on a tree to mark his territory. He's saying, this isn't the people's house. This is mine. I'm a dictator. This belongs to me. I would not put it past him, and I'm not being facetious here. I would not put it past him a year from now to say, you know what, this whole building is outdated. I want a steel and glass modern building here. I wouldn't put it past him to raise the whole place down and put a statue of himself in front, like the Lincoln Memorial, except he wants one bigger. I'm done.
Thank you for that, Bruce. And, for folks who think that isn't true, I agree 100% with Bruce on that one. Every time he goes a little bit further, and you see what the example Bruce used, you stick your nose in, and later on, the whole thing is in. I want to give a big welcome to Udi Deemer. Udi, all the commentary you're making, both you and Joanne. I read you. Lee the Bearcat, welcome aboard, as well as all the our great folks inside of our chat. Federico, Lynette, Independent Voter 1, Jane D. in North Carolina, and Sandra D. Forgive me if I haven't called you out. Let's go to John from Minneapolis. Come on in, John.
I wanted to say that propaganda works, and we need to fight propaganda, and the only way we can do it is to support stations like KPFT, support your Substack. I support people here in Minneapolis, also in Boston, and then in Denver with Free Speech TV, Democracy Now! In New York. We just need to do it. This is the only way that we can, really change the whole dynamic politically and counter the lies that we get constantly out of politicians and the White House and all of these areas of our life. And it's so important. And then we have to get involved too. We have to actually work in political parties to change them and to change the whole narrative. And we can do it. And we need to keep fighting. It's just, we're fighting for our survival.
Let me just say this to you, John from Minneapolis. I want to thank you for actually saying that because I think I said something similar yesterday where I said, myself, I am a donor like Neil is to this station. I do the $10 a month thing. I can't, I give to a whole lot of give a lot of small donations to a lot of organizations, just like you mentioned about we have to support all the people that are out there doing the work on our behalf and sometimes with us. And that
Hmm.
is so important for you to say that because people think
Yep.
that, well, I can't do something. You can always do something, and financial support is a something you are part of. I don't want to call it get hyperbolic and call it deliberation, even though I don't think I'm all that hyperbolic saying that, but to get us where we
Yeah.
need to be. So thank you, John, for that. Anything else, real quick, John?
Well, I think it's interesting the history of KPFT from 1970. I heard about it from Amy Goodman,
Hmm.
and this is the kind of stations that we need to support however we can. And I give lots of little small donations around the country, and it works. It does work. It
And
adds
I
up.
I want to thank you because you are out there in Minneapolis and we have your voice. And we know that you're listening every day and we have your voice that comes on here and say your piece from Minneapolis. So you give us also a pulse out there. Thank you so kindly, my brother. We'll talk later, okay?
Mhm. Yep. Yep.
All right. And by the way, folks, I want to give a big thank you to David. David from Houston,
Great.
Texas. He took advantage of the coffee with Egberto.
Oh, okay,
David, we
great.
are going to have coffee and we are going to have some great chat. Just arrange that with Robin. And again, once you put that there, rest assured, whenever we get a chance to arrange, whenever you and I come to an arrangement as far as where we want to meet, it will happen. I want to thank you
Hmm.
so kindly for that. We could use a few more of those. So, folks, please give us a call at 713-526-5738, extension number 1, or go to kpft.org. Neil.
And I want to give, so this is the second week in a row. 2 weeks ago, a caller asked about the 419 Emancipation Homeless Hub. And I'll give a brief update on that. That issue continues. So that is 419 Emancipation, which is near the Shell, near the Dynamo Stadium. And Mayor Whitmire wants to put a big homeless hub there. And some of the folks in the East Edu area, I hate that word, in the East downtown area, excuse me, don't want it. Um, and it is part of Mayor Whitmire's $70 million homeless initiative. There was a story I read in the New York Times that even, no, it's the Chronicle, excuse me, that even Texas may be losing some homeless money from President Trump. So we'll see if Whitmire talks about that. But the item has been on the council agenda for 2 weeks. It's been pulled each week because of local opposition, and there's a whole just an update on that because I appreciated the caller bringing it up 2 weeks ago. And I watch every session of Houston City Council, and occasionally we get questions about it, and I encourage folks to call with any question about council and to follow it themselves.
Thank you for that, Neil. And Joe, first of all, you did the right thing for taking that COVID vaccine. And in as much as
Right.
you have a fever, Joe, just rest. I had three at the one time: the COVID, the pneumonia, and the flu all at the same time, and I was dogged that one day. I
Right.
came on air, but I felt like crap. I can tell you that. But you're doing the responsible thing, sister. You're doing the responsible thing. Let's see if I need to say anything to anybody else in the chat before we move on. Thank you for that active chat going on right now on Substack as well. LBW says, I flew into and out of Chicago on Monday. It looked pretty quiet from my bird's eye view. All of this is manufactured, as Lee mentioned earlier, to give people to throw these national guards in blue cities to give you to get you used to it so that you can also
Mm-hmm.
do voter suppression. That's what it's all about. People
Yeah.
start seeing the National Guard. A lot of Latinos don't want to mess with show me your papers and all that kind of stuff, right? and they stay back. That is what it's all about, folks. That's what it's all about. Look, I want to give a quick 40, about a minute soliloquy. All Senate races really affect us all because the Senate is that body, 100 guys or girls or women or whatever that that have a lot of power in this country, even though they're not exercising it right now. But from Maine to replace
Colin.
Collins, to replace Collins, we have Graham Platner that's actually running. And here is the thing: both the Democratic Party, the mainstream media, and the right, they're beating up on this guy, and they're trying to dig up everything that this guy has ever said in Reddit or in the news media or whatever. And there is one interesting thing, and here I am going to speak as a black person. And let me explain why to my brother, Graham Platner. He made a comment. There is somebody out there that said, "Tell me ask a question to somebody of another race that perplexes you," or something of that nature. And the brother that's running for Senate, Platner, he said, "Why?" He said something to the effect of, "Why do black people don't tip or tip less," or something to that effect. And everybody's going up in hell. Oh, look at what he's a racist. He's this. He's that. He also said a comment that a lot of these rural areas, white people are racist. He said that, and people are all up in arms and they're going crazy. He mentioned a few things in his chat. Now, I want to tell folks something. Black folks are not stupid voters. Black folks, I repeat, are not stupid voters. I mean, I was a very strong Bernie supporter. In fact, I was a delegate for Bernie in Philadelphia. I love what Bernie stands for. I was sort of upset that in my idealist view, I couldn't understand why it is that people in South Carolina, specifically a lot of black folks in South Carolina, brought Biden to the fold. And it doesn't matter that Biden has a history of saying certain things, right? These folks looked at the platform, they looked at the floor, and they said, for our interest, Biden is the guy that we have to jump on that horse. A very pragmatic vote. I think the Democratic Party has to stop the fall accusing this person of racism and all that kind of stuff, and start getting with the program. Look, everybody has their flaws. At the point in my life that I had my flaws, I am sure people can pick up things somewhere that I've said that I may look at now and say, I still believe that, but I probably should have said it a bit differently. To the Democratic Party that has failed to support Mamdani, that has failed to support Platner by trying to bring an almost 80-year-old person to run in a time when America needs a change and when the working class needs a hero. Leave Platner the hell alone. I will take Platner over the current governor of Maine any day. We are all smart voters. Let's go ahead and act accordingly. I need to throw it to Elise before we do a station ID.
Thank you for listening to Politics Done Right with Egberto on KPFT. Thank you so much to Kelvin in Houston. He just did a monthly sustaining donation for Politics Done Right. Also, thank you so much to David, to Amber, to Dulce, to Willard in Houston. Thank you for helping support this station and this show this morning. We cannot do this without you. The voices that you hear on this radio station are volunteers. We're powered by your donations of support. We take no commercial advertising on this radio station. It's amazing that we can produce this type of quality, insightful, intelligent programming without much of a budget to put toward that type of talent. It's incredible that we're able to do this together, and together is definitely the way we get it done. Please join us now at 713-526-5738, option 1, kpft.org. We're going to run out of time in this show shortly and make room for Amy Goodman and Democracy Now! But there's still time. There's still time to say, yes, I'm here for you. I'm here for KPFT. I'm here for Politics Done Right and Egberto Willies. And also thank you to Neil this morning. Thank you to the guys in the studio. Let's support this station and this show together. 713-526-5738, option 1, kpft.org.
Thank you so kindly, Elise. Elise, let me just tell you, I honestly, you have such a soothing voice. I just have to say that. I mean, I just love hearing your voice. Thank you for being here, and thank you for pitching here with us today.
You're a delight. Thank you so much, Egberto. Anytime.
Yeah. Anyhow, folks, look, we are going to go over just by a few minutes here. I want to thank all of you for listening. I want to thank all of you for being here. I want to thank all of our current donors for today: Kelvin, David, Amber, Dulce, and Willard. Thank you so kindly for being here. Please remember that you can still continue to give. The number is 713-526-5738, extension number 1. Please be sure to say you are given in the name of Politics Done Right. And likewise, you can go to kpft.org, kpft.org, hit the donate button and select whatever gift you want. And also remember to, when you're scrolling down on the program, select Politics Done Right. Folks, look, you have been wonderful all fund drive, and please keep up and encourage others to give as well. I'm watching the chat here, Neil, and I'm watching our chat on Substack, how they are advising and encouraging others to keep this station. A lot of these guys are from out of town, encouraging these guys to keep Politics Done Right and KPFT afloat. We could not do this without you. Does anybody else want to get a coffee with Egberto, $250 contribution, or a Politics Done Right t-shirt, $100 contribution? We're almost out of time, so let me pass it on to brother Neil, and then we'll move on.
Do we need a station ID at the turn of the hour?
I did that already.
You did that? I'm sorry.
Oh no,
Okay.
I probably didn't. This is KPFT
Okay.
Houston. I had it in my mind. I probably didn't.
Right.
Thank you for that, Neil. Go ahead.
HoustonDemocracyProject.com. That's my effort. Appreciate everyone bearing with me. I think my allergies are bugging me a little bit this morning. Great show. Thank you everyone who contributed. HoustonDemocracyProject.com. Remember, the next action is when you organize it. The First Amendment is your permit. The only credential you need is your presence. No community or person is on the periphery. Let's continue the momentum of No Kings. Continue the momentum of we made our numbers today. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Of making our numbers here. We did so last Thursday when I was here as well, and I appreciate a lot, being able to be a part of this, and thanks to the studio as well.
Now, let me tell you, folks, in as much as we just made our numbers with Kelvin, we need more, and we'd love
we need
for
more.
it to,
Yes, that was
because
an end point. Correct.
we subsidize each other here. If there's a day I don't make it, we hope somebody else make it, etc. Please continue to give. We need your support. 713-526-5738. I'm going to throw it to the studio.
And nothing here from me. And Jack says nothing either, so take it home, Egberto.
All right, folks, I want to thank you so kindly. Remember, the rest of the show is at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. The rest of the show is at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Please do visit HoustonDemocracyProject.com. Neil is out there in the field, and he puts some of his thoughts at HoustonDemocracyProject.com. We need to make sure that all these resources that are out here, especially in these times, that you go there, you see what's there, etc. You can email me directly at kpft. Email me directly at kpft@politicsdoneright.com, kpft@politicsdoneright.com. You know I love you all from the depths of my heart. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this baby. Oh, beforehand, thank you, Elise. Thank you for showing up early this morning and helping us out here. And of course, Howard and Jack know I love my folks. Anyway, my name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.
We now join Democracy Now! In progress on KPFT Houston.
Parted for Israel Wednesday in a bid to